Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to our outer apostles who rule great Muslim well. And shalom to all you Akim, pushing this truth with sincerity. May you brothers endure unto the end. Shalom. I'm going to play this video and I'm going to get scripture that fit it. And may you brothers be edified. The reason why I got into looking into this issue through the spirit was because I just realized that through study that Trump's idol is actually Andrew Jackson. He actually wants to be like Andrew Jackson. He declares himself. He says himself when he compares himself to a president. He says Andrew Jackson, very proudly, boldly. Okay, and Andrew Jackson was actually the Indian killer. He was part of the Trail of Tears. Trail of Tears was not the only genocide story of the Gadites, but it was just one drop in the bucket. But Trump obviously shows that he really has that spirit of Andrew Jackson, even with the Northern Kingdom Yashashakar. And with the Northern Kingdom right now. It says, on the TV, it says, they made us many promises, more than I can remember, but they kept but one. So out of all the promises, they only kept one promise. And it says, they promised to take our land and they took it. Attributed to Red Cloud. So, who is this Native American Indian talking about? And you cannot deny history. It was the cavalry, the so-called white man, the pale face. Okay? This is Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Alright? So the Lord loves the ones that speak truth and not liars. The Edomites, so-called white men, are liars. Their history proves that. And the Lord hates them.
By the early 19th century, the U.S. was rapidly growing, both in size and power. Land-hungry and ambitious, the new country was also drastically changing its policies towards the Indian nations. And nowhere was this more evident than in the treaties.
The United States' primary interest in treaty making was to acquire Indian land. And so the treaties were used for that purpose, especially as the United States found itself in a position to pretty much dictate the terms of the treaty.
And as you can see, the Gadites were very dark, okay? But of course they lost some of their color. As they made treaties with these so-called white men, they would take on their women, and also with their women take on the Edomite man as lovers, and that of them birthing the children, they would take on so-called white Caucasian looks. Okay, but there is a separation in nation, and you are of the seed of your father. So whoever your lineage comes from, it don't really matter what you look like. Who your bloodline goes back to is who your blessing or your curse will be.
And so the treaties morphed from this friendship and reciprocity sort of relationship into a very one-sided thing.
There's almost a mythology about this, that somehow when the
Alright, I want to get a scripture. It's Proverbs 19:9. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Alright? So this history is in the books on this devil. Alright? And he's a false witness because if you actually go into his history, what does he teach you? I just recently read a college pamphlet that was talking about the slaves they came willfully being promised money, an indentured servant. They lied, they're false witnesses. But as the Lord allows little breakthroughs of truth to come through for the elect's sake, this truth, as it gets pulled back more and more, actually reveals the shame of Esau, which is the beginning of his downfall. Alright?
Pilgrims arrived, they were dragging land behind them. There was no land brought here. The land here was native nations. And this is what the United States needed. It's what it wanted. They wanted all of it. They wanted everything.
The greed came in. Well, we have a little tract here now we need a little more. And, well, we need to go make another treaty. We didn't understand that eventually those treaty-making processes ended up to the acquisition of all of our ancestral homeland.
I'm going to get a script. This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the master power concerning Edom. Edom goes back to, that's the nation of the so-called white man. Alright? We have heard a rumor from the Yahweh and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Okay? So, the Caucasian Edom is actually quite small amongst all the nations, but they're the most despised. Alright? Because all nations hate them, like in South Africa right now. They're getting ready to start. I think they're already killing a lot of those Edomites. I remember hearing, if I remember right. But they made out a declaration that they're gonna start killing, especially when they reach that day zero. When they reach day zero, those which are some are Israelites, but a lot of them are Hamites. Those South African blacks are gonna start killing the so-called South African whites. Because you are greatly despised. You have pretty much burnt the bridges everywhere. All your bridges, connections to all these other nations, you burned them. And so you're going to be destroyed because you are greatly despised by every nation. Also, that's why that's a great omen of that bridge in Miami collapsing. All right?
That land was a part of us. That land helped us be. That land was who we were and who we are.
I got another script. It says, Obadiah, verse 5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? So just like these people were just talking about how they pretty much made promises and then they came in and stole the land. Alright? They stole everything. Well, Esau does that. Okay, it says in verse 5 of Obadiah, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Okay? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So when he came as an oppressor. Alright? That's why that Andrew Jackson was called the Indian killer. Alright? Trump is declaring himself out of his own mouth to be pretty much to be the Indian killer. And when they come, they're coming for everything. They're not leaving nothing. They're not going to leave one grape. That's how greedy these bastards are. That's why in martial law, they're going to gather everything. They're going to gather everyone.
The command of removal came unexpectedly upon most of us. There was a time that we noticed several overloaded wagons were passing our home, yet we did not grasp the meaning. Then one day, wagons stopped. We were to be taken away and leave our homes.
Alright? So, just like you heard, they saw the signs. They didn't believe it, though. They didn't take it serious. They saw the wagons going by, but they didn't realize it was on them until it was at their door. And that's really what's going to happen to you Israelites. It says here in Isaiah 1, verse 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people does not consider. So, the Israelites, they can't even consider anything of the Most High. They can't understand or reason with them having to suffer martial law. Alright, to suffer great tribulation. They can't reason with that. They can't believe that. And a lot of blame goes on to that Christianity, which also though comes through the Edomites.
Never to return.
To get what they wanted, U.S. officials brokered treaties through any means available. Their tactics were so corrupt that the once trusted treaties became quickly known as bad paper.
There were people at these treaty negotiations.
And that's exactly what their money is now. Just like their peace treaties was a bunch of bullshit called bad paper. It eventually was worthless shit. Their money is the same thing. It's just it's a note, or well, it was a note. Now it's just I believe it still has reserve note effect, but now it's just a debt. It's a note of debt. It has no value, just like their peace treaty was when they first arrived.
Who would do anything to get an agreement on the table, and so there was very routine bribery, individual payments made to tribal leaders. Alcohol would be used to put people in an agreeable frame of mind, and even coercion to say to me.
So they, just like we read in Obadiah, let me get that again. It says in Obadiah, verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? See, he searches you. He comes at you with pleasure. He says, here, have some liquor. Here, have some women. Here, have some education. Here, have some liberty. Here, have some sin. That's what he does. But he searches you out. He comes to you with something that you would desire.